was all a lie. In the early years of the coronavirus pandemic, the man of God, Reverend Chris Oyakhilome, God's prophetic voice in these end times, boldly declared that the coronavirus was not a natural occurrence, but a man-engineered threat tied to laboratories in Wuhan. With powerful figures, of course, like Dr. Anthony Fauci at the center of its origins. He warned the world when many mocked him, much like the prophets of old who were ridiculed for speaking what God revealed to them.
Something about Dr. Fauci. Yeah, I don't just mention people's names, but when I do, you know that I know something that is more than the ordinary. Because I never take a stand against anyone personally, except I know something supernaturally, and that's significant, demanding such either a rebuke or attention. And I told you that he was the brain behind COVID-19. I said, if they like, they can deny it as much as they want to. It's the brain behind it. It's his baby. It's his baby. You know, in the United States, they don't want to accuse him directly because they only want to do such a thing through the courts. You get it? So they want to be nice, but there's no point being nice. All the information, all the evidence is available. They thought they have been able to hide all the evidence, or they thought that they were so much in charge that nobody will get the evidence. But there's more than enough evidence. And the part of it that he's still denying will soon come out.
Anthony Fauci was and still is the guy to question about the COVID-19 virus. Outgoing director of the National Intelligence, TULSI GABBARD, recently released a devastating trove of internal communications and documents that confirm what millions of Americans have suspected for years. Dr. Anthony Fauci directed millions of your hard-earned taxpayer dollars to fund dangerous gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses. Think about that. At the Wuhan Institute of Virology, the very lab at the center of the COVID-19 outbreak debate. And according to these recordings, Fauci lied to Congress about it. This is not speculation. This is not misinformation. These are the receipts, the emails, funding approvals, project descriptions, and back channel discussions, showing how U.S. money flowed through intermediaries straight into experiments that enhanced the transmissibility and pathogenicity of the coronaviruses. The kind of research that carries catastrophic risk if something goes wrong. And something was deliberately made to go wrong, and that was in late 2019.
COVID pandemic, Dr. Fauci, as head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, provided millions in U.S. taxpayer dollars to fund dangerous gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, work which is now widely viewed as the source of the unintentional lab leak that sparked the pandemic. Now, in support of President Trump's maximum transparency mandate, today, on my final day as Director of National Intelligence, I'm releasing never-before-seen communications and documents that expose exactly how Fauci worked with politicized career leadership in the intelligence community to suppress the truth about his actions, the virus's lab leak origins, and his role in directing U.S. funding for this dangerous research that caused immeasurable harm and countless lost lives. Now, these documents expose Fauci's direct role in influencing and manipulating IC assessments on COVID-19 and how Fauci lied to Congress in 2024 when, under oath, he denied knowledge of or participation in discussions with intelligence officials about viral research. We also received testimony from multiple intelligence community whistleblowers who reported retaliation for challenging the intelligence community's manipulation of intelligence on the virus's origins, once again revealing a clear pattern of suppressing dissent, silencing critics, and burying the truth. Dr. Fauci's close relationships with the intelligence community enabled him to assume three key roles that shield him from scrutiny. First, Dr. Fauci funded dangerous gain-of-function coronavirus research linked to Big Pharma and their pursuit of universal vaccines worth trillions of dollars. Second, Dr. Fauci was the behind-the-scenes advisor who, alongside his hand-picked so-called experts, pushed the intelligence community to endorse a natural animal origin to hide his dangerous gain-of-function research that he funded using taxpayer dollars, all of this in a deliberate attempt to cover up the truth and shift the blame and attention away from Fauci's own actions.
Now, let's break down exactly what TULSI GABBARD is laying out in this release and how it directly contradicts what Fauci told the American people and their elected representatives. TULSI's commentary in the package is straightforward and damning. She points to specific communications proving Fauci's office and the agencies under his influence approved and oversaw the funding for this high-risk work at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. She calls it what it is, gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses using U.S. taxpayer dollars. No hedging, no word games. She also states plainly that Fauci lied to Congress when he was questioned under oath about this very issue. Now compare that to what Dr. Fauci actually told Congress in multiple hearings, most famously his May 2021 exchange with Senator Rand Paul. Fauci flatly denied that the NIH had funded gain-of-function research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. He insisted the work in question did not meet the definition, claimed it was not his agency's responsibility in that way, and pushed back hard against any suggestion that the United States money was involved in making these viruses more dangerous. I mean, he used technical parsing and narrow definitions to create distance.
To lie to Congress, do you wish to retract your statement of May 11th where you claimed that the NIH never funded gain-of-function research in Wuhan?
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress.
Microphone.
Your microphone.
Senator Paul, I have never lied before the Congress, and I do not retract that statement. This paper that you are referring to was judged by qualified staff up and down the chain as not being gain of function. Let me finish.
You take an animal virus and you increase its transmissibility to humans,
right.
You're saying that's not gain of function?
Yeah, that is correct. And Senator Paul, you do not know what you are talking about, quite frankly. And I want to say that officially. You do not know what you are talking about. Okay, you get one person.
Let's read from the NIH
Chair, can I
definition of
answer
gain
the
of
question?
That's Anthony Fauci for you. Now, TULSI GABBARD's documents shred that defense. Baseless defense. They show the funding pipeline, the project goals, the virus manipulation work, and Fauci's awareness of it. The communications don't leave much room for the "it wasn't really gain of function" or "we didn't know" excuses that were trotted out for years. When TULSI says Fauci lied to Congress, she's not offering an opinion. She's pointing to the paper trail that makes the earlier denials look like deliberate misdirection. This matters for more than just scoring political points. American taxpayers funded risky research in a foreign lab with documented biosafety concerns and ties to the Chinese military. That same lab sits at the geographic and scientific epicenter of a global pandemic that killed millions and wrecked economies for years. Anyone who raised these questions was smeared as a conspiracy theorist. Now the outgoing DNI, not some partisan blogger, is releasing the internal records that back up the concerns. TULSI's release cuts through the fog, the work involved making coronaviruses more capable of infecting humans. That's the core of what gain-of-function research critics warned about. And the funding came with Fauci's fingerprints on it, while the legacy media, the public health bureaucrats, and their allies in government pushed the official fairy tale that COVID-19 jumped naturally from a wet market in Wuhan. The man of God, Pastor Chris, cut through the propaganda early on. He called it what it was, a demonic project, a biological weapon orchestrated by dark forces to bring the world to its knees. Not some innocent bat-to-human spillover from a market stall.
Not a lot of people that were dying. They're still continuing the lies. These figures are inflated. Inflated. So what about all the other sicknesses that people were dying of before? Why aren't we hearing about those ones? Because all those deaths have been put together, added together, and given to COVID. Now they can give us reports of those who died of the flu that they used to have in different seasons. We can't find those records anymore. What about all those who were dying of cancer? We can't find those records anymore. All of it now was given to COVID, plus virtual numbers, virtual deaths that never happened. So they keep lying to the whole world about the number of people that are dying. Now, what about the virus in play? There's an actual virus created by these people, and particularly those who went to Wuhan China to fix it. Why are they not coming out with the purification results? I'll tell you why. The reason they won't come out with it is because others will prove the cure. Because once you have it, once you isolate it, they will have access to the information on the virus, and they can prove the cure for the virus. And they don't want anybody to be able to prove the cure for the virus so that the agenda, the vaccine agenda, can proceed. That's the reason. So there's actually a virus which they're hiding, and the virus doesn't kill as many people as they're saying, okay? So they're hiding it. They can't let it out because it can be cured, and very easily cured. So if they release the information, those who have produced medicines for curing the problem will prove themselves right. And they don't want it. So it's better to make it a mystery. Because the virus is not near as deadly as they lied about it. And what's more, it never spread as they said. The virus never spread as they said. It didn't have the power to spread as they said. So, what's going on? Because we have a lot of people who will not allow the truth to be told. If they dispute these things, all they have to do is show us the records of their purification of the virus, period. Show us the records of your isolated virus, period. Provide the records for peer review. Just provide the records. And then the rest of us will then keep quiet. But they won't provide.
The records are out. Now here's a question. With all this evidence, why is Fauci still walking scot-free? Justice has to be served for the millions that died and those that have been injured.